Magandang hapon mga batchmates at classmates. Ang ating guest ngayon si Doc Mary Joy Gordoncillo. Doc Joy, magandang hapon po. Pwede po niyo bang batiin muna ang ating mga fellow alumni?
Magandang hapon, Polly, and magandang hapon po sa mga kasamahan natin sa UP.
Marami pong salamat, Doc Joy. Ngayon naman, umpisahan na po natin ang ating kwentuhan. Unang-una, Doc Joy, bakit niyo po ba kinuha ang inyong kurso? Meron po bang nag-impluwensya sa inyo?
Actually, ang alamat niyan, I first visited UPLB nung elementary ako kasi yung sister ko, nag-study siya sa National Arts Center sa McKinney. Nung graduation niya, syempre kasama ako, nakita ko yung UPLB and I was very impressed. Parang nabuhayan yung farmer in me na may ganito palang university na nasa gubat. So, basically, ang deciding factor ko nun, anong course ang pwede kong kunin sa UPLB. So, that was the only thought I had in mind. Tapos, running through the options, nakita ko veterinary medicine. Sabi ko, siguro konti lang ang kumukuha nito. And of course, dahil din siguro nga bata pa ako, mas oriented ako. Yung aking attraction to farming, nandun na. May mga pet ducks ako. Medyo kakaiba yung mga ginagawa ko. So sabi ko, sige, ito na lang yung course na iti-take ko. I first fell in love with the university. I stuck with it and then okay naman. I eventually finished veterinary medicine.
So ngayon naman po, Doc, paano po ba nakatulong ang UP sa inyong napiling career?
Siyempre, all that I know as a vet, sa UP lahat nagsimula yun. But I think more than the learning sa four walls of classroom, I think it's other aspects sa buhay nakatulong talaga. UP offered an open ground for creativity, resourcefulness, resilience, camaraderie. Shout out sa mga klasiko ng CBM class of 95. It really created hindi lang yung pagiging vet, but also as a person, as a human being, as a soul. Parang na-nourish niya yung all areas of my life. So UP has really been instrumental kung nasaan man ako ngayon. I think I'm also happy with how UP trained me to taking part in roles sa community, giving back, and also doing things outside of your own comfort zone. Kasi malalim yung pagtuturo sa atin ng UP about thinking about others. I really took it to heart. Ngayon, marami akong ginagawa on the side, outside of my terms of preferences dito sa work, more of outreach sa bayan natin. Kasi naniniwala ako sa power ng education. Education has transformed my life. So I believe that giving back the same opportunity that UP has given me is also a useful contribution sa society. Every opportunity I get, ginagawa ko siya, and all my plans sa future din, kasama yun. And I think ito yung part of what UP has taught me. Hindi lang sa work, sa technical aspects, but everything that I am, I attribute it to what I have learned in UP Los Baños.
Talagang service. Nandyan talaga yun. Nananalaytay talaga sa
Hindi mo yun maiaalis siguro sa UP graduate. Natural na naka-build-in na yun pagka-graduate mo. Yung heart for service, yung yearning mo to support other people, especially the young people. Patuloy lang. At saka hindi na siya sa precept ginagawa mo. It's outside of your comfort zone. But I think it's very rewarding. I'm sure marami pang ibang alumni ang gumagawa nun. I love that UP has taught that sa akin.
Maraming salamat, Doc. Napakagandang reminder po niyan para sa ating lahat. Dahil dyan, Doc, para sa iyo, ano po ba yung characteristics ng mga tatak UP?
Una-una sa Blue Book, honor and excellence. Guiding principle, talaga siya, it's very simple. It's not just about excellence, it comes with honor. Siguro kung i-translate ko rin sa everyday life, parang talino at tapang, at saka dangal at diskarte. Kasi I think yun yung magdi-describe sa bawat UP student. Hindi lang talino, hindi lang tapang, but everything rolled into one.
Yun na talaga, honor and excellence po talaga yung tatak talaga ng UP. Ngayon naman po, balikan lang po natin, Doc. Ano po ba yung ginagawa nyo ngayon? And can you briefly share yung naging career journey nyo?
Currently, I work for Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. My very first career is as faculty member ng UP College of Veterinary Medicine. Nag-teach ako sa Department of Veterinary para Clinical Sciences. I was teaching microbiology, public health, tsaka veterinary diagnostics. After that, in between, I took master's sa Australia, sa James Cook University. I did vaccines kasi yun talaga yung curiosities ko. Molecular biology, vaccinology. And then after that, I was given the opportunity to do PhD sa Michigan State University. And that's when I left UP na. Sa Michigan State, I was a full-time graduate research assistant. And then I did public health courses. And sabi ko nga kanina, health communication. So I was working on a project with Centers for Disease Control, CDC, trying to simplify the concepts ng antimicrobial resistance for animal sector. And then right after that, I moved to Bangkok, World Organization for Animal Health, to work with the Foot and Mouth Disease Project. And eventually, naging Zoonoses, One Health, which is my area na, yung vet public health talaga. So I moved here 2011. I was there for 5 years, Human-Animal Environment Interface. It's an international intergovernmental network also. After that, I joined the Food and Agriculture Organization sa Regional Office for Asia and the Pacific, still in Bangkok, as AMR Surveillance Coordinator. Under that role, ako yung nagko-coordinate ng surveillance activities on antimicrobial resistance sa animal sector. We were developing tools, we were developing things na mag-help sa mga countries to carry this out.
Para po sa ating mga tagapanood din at saka para rin po sa amin, can you please share with us yung importance po ng AMR, itong antimicrobial resistance monitoring?
Kasi sa atin, antibiotics, di ba parang normally, magte-take ka, gagaling ka, but we know na eventually mayroong sukdulan ang efficacy niya. Kasi nagkakaroon din ng response yung mga tinitreat natin, nagiging resistant na sila sa gamot. So ayaw nating mangyari yun. And there are things that we can do now to avoid this for later. Kasi it's estimated that more than 2 million people will die by the year 2050 every year kapag hindi natin na-control ang AMR. And part of the process, yung galing sa animals. Kasi hindi naman makaka-recognize ang bacteria kung ano yung pinupuntahan niya, kung animals ba or kung tao. So may mga responsibilities and good practices na dapat nating i-put in place. Unfortunately, kasi for the animal sector, for example, naging norm na yung magbigay ng antibiotics kahit walang sakit or magbigay ng antimicrobial growth promotants which nagsispeed up yung growth but at the expense ng nakukompromise syempre yung overall health at saka yung health ng future generations. So as early as now, kung wala tayong gagawin, magiging problem siya. So this is a global concern. This is a concern across different sectors sa sector na that covers food and agriculture where animal health is concerned.
Grabe pala talaga, Doc, no? Kung hindi talaga mamomonitor agad, wala na tayong magagawa. At least ngayon, prevention in a way para hindi siya maging problema sa mga susunod pang panahon.
Ang monitoring and surveillance kasi will help in developing evidence-based decisions and policy. Yun din naman ang significance ng surveillance work. Pero aside from surveillance, of course, marami rin yung components. Yung surveillance, yun lang yung part that builds or generates evidence para yung mga decisions, interventions, policies ay hindi based sa feeling, hula at fear, but based on data, quality information, science.
Numbers talaga, hindi natin yan pwedeng i-challenge. Yan yung pinakamagandang basis kung paano natin ito masusolusyonan talaga. So ngayon naman po, Doc Joy, what insights can you impart as AMR Regional Surveillance Coordinator ng FAO Regional Office of Asia and the Pacific?
About 389,000 people deaths are attributed to bacterial AMR in South Asia alone and 254,000 people deaths attributed to bacterial AMR in Southeast Asia. So isang taon lang yun. And it's estimated to be bigger than that in the future. Pag wala tayong ginawa, ngayon, we will be having the consequence in the future. So our children's children will be affected. Darating yung time na yung mga ordinaryong sakit, kagaya ng sugat, magiging problematic na siya. I think hindi natin ma-imagine pa ngayon kasi things are working as of now. But you can imagine that before the advent of antibiotics, dati nun, ang kinakamatay ng karamihan ng mga sundalo sa giyera ay hindi pagbaril sa kanila, but when they are shot, yung wound nila na i-infect, yun ang kinakamatay nila, or malaria, or diarrhea because wala pang treatment noong panahon na yun. Because of antibiotics, alam nating simple na lang na sakit yung mga. But over time, because of misuse and abuse, nagiging problema siya. If we do not do anything, patuloy na magiging ganun ang pupuntahan natin. And everybody has a role to play. Ako, siguro as a veterinarian, ang in-encourage ko, mga kapwa ko veterinaryo, maging vigilant sa tamang paraan ng paggamit. Hindi naman natin kasi siya pwedeng wag nang gamitin kasi these are medicinal tools, no? So these are part ng ating sandata panlaban sa sakit. But dapat alam din natin paano siya i-manage in a way na hindi natin siya kakailanganin, which includes good farming veterinary practices. Iwasan natin ng infection sa mga animals to begin with para walang infection na ipoproblemahin. Bigyan natin ng tamang nutrition, tamang pagkain, tamang pag-aalaga. So from the part yun ng animal sector, of course sa tao, sa environment, may kanya-kanya ring roles to play. But if everybody takes part, kagaya ngayon, pinag-usapan natin to, huwag kang magtitake ng antibiotics nang hindi prescribed ng doctor, tatapusin ng antibiotics. So yun din yung mga important na tinatry ng mga counterparts natin like WHO sa fight na ito. It's a global problem. It's identified as a health crisis globally. People are trying to do their best.
Salamat nandyan kayo kasi isa yun sa malaki talaga yung impact at saka na-appreciate ko yung paano nyo po siya in-explain sa amin yung magiging effect sa ating future generation if hindi natin talaga to susubaybayan, gagawa ng paraan at saka hindi magtutulong-tulungan ang bawat isa kasi lahat tayo may role na kailangan gawin.
Yes.
Yan, marami pong salamat Doc Joy and sana mas dumami pa po yung mga katulad yung veterinaryo na talagang magiging active dito. Yung babantayan po talaga yung populasyon ng mga tao. Ngayon naman Doc Joy, marami tayo bagong scholar ng bayan. Pwede po ba kayong magbigay ng words of wisdom para po sa kanila?
It's a privilege to be studying in UP to receive UP education. So I hope we recognize that. Tapos, siguro while there, make the most out of your time, but also be accountable of what you will become. Focus on what you want out of your time there and go get it. Keep your mind, your body, and your soul. So hindi lang siya isang aspect. Train your brain, heart, spirit, build your career, your character, and your being. It's a nice opportunity kasi ito yung time na learning is such a privilege. Tapos, while you're a student, don't be afraid of making mistakes kasi we also learn from those. But be accountable also at the same time. It's a growth opportunity. Make the most out of it. Paglabas mo ng UP, hindi lang degree ang na-earn mo, but also you have a better character. You're a better person from when you entered. And of course, serve back when you can.
Marami pong salamat sa inyong reminder and marami rin pong salamat, Doc Choi, sa inyong time na binigay dito sa ating segment. Sana mas marami pa po kayo ma-mold at ma-mentor na future generation sa mga vet po natin. So, Doc Joy, last na po, baka may message kayo sa mga future vets natin.
Sa mga future vets, enjoy your education kasi kung babalikan ko, one of the best periods in my life ay pagiging estudyante. Imagine, you have the world in your hands, tapos wala kang lisensyang natatakot mawala pag nagkamali ka. So, enjoy it while it lasts, but also think that habang nandyan ka, you have a bigger role to play. Nagkaroon din ako ng appreciation ng role ng vets kasi hindi lang animal health, but we're also responsible for making sure na protected din ang human health. So, we work a lot with zoonotic disease, avian influenza. I worked a lot also on rabies. We have a very huge role as gatekeepers of diseases and also well-being ng humans. I think ang role natin, siguro ngayon kasi mas marami na ang nagpupunta sa small animal practice. I think there's a whole world that we're missing kasi nung time kasi namin mas marami yung mga animal health practitioners sa field. But of course, it's changing. But let's not forget na ang veterinaryo, napakarami niyang areas of work, napaka-flexible, marami tayong areas na pwedeng i-explore and at the same time, marami ring challenges. I think yun yung role ng vets na hindi namin pwedeng tanungin kung ano ang kailangan ng patients namin. But we just have to find out. And I think you're in such a good place to be in UP kasi nandyan lalabas ang pagiging inventive mo kahit wala kang makina, walang lab. You just have to figure out kasi lahat brain mo ang magfa-function. I think kahit brownout, makakapag-diagnose ang mga veterinaryong Pilipino kasi sa amoy pa lang, alam na. I think kasama yun sa exposure and training. There are perks. Of course, maganda ring ma-expose sila sa maraming advancements. But I think built in yung thinking process ng isang veterinaryo gawa ng UP. Yung food security din kasi part din yan ng pagiging veterinaryo natin kasi the world is changing. Climate change nandiyan. Naiiba siya. So we have to adapt. We have to expose ourselves to as much learning as possible kasi nagbabago ang mundo. Siguro yung mga natutunan namin noon baka hindi na siya mag-apply ngayon. And learn to be adaptive and try to be inventive kasi yung mga solutions before will not apply to the problems nowadays. Always be creative din sa mga solution finding. Good luck sa lahat ng mga future veterinarians. Kailangan kayo ng Pilipinas, kailangan kayo ng mundo.
Maraming salamat, Doc Joy. Salamat sa mga paalala at sa iyong advice sa ating future generations and also sa mga magiging bagong veterinaryo. Maraming salamat po and I hope kahit papano nag-enjoy kayo na balikan ng konti yung inyong dating kwento at the same time maibahagi sa amin yung inyong ginagawa ngayon sa iyong karera.
Salamat din sa inyo and siguro last shout out sa mga naging professors ko noon, lalo na sa aking advisor, si Dr. Helen Molina, sa mga beloved teachers. So lahat naman kasi ng learnings na what I am today, part sila noon. So acknowledgement din sa mga guro at bumubuo ng kolehiyo ng medisinang pamveterinaryo. Mabuhay kayong lahat. Salamat po sa lahat ng tinuro nyo. Nagagamit ko po hanggang ngayon.
O Doc, ito na yung isa sa mga trademark kasi ng aming segment, itong tatak shoutout. Pwede ko po bang marinig ang shoutout niyo po?
Po si Mary Joy Gordoncillo, Certified Tatak UP.